Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be talking about how homes imprison minds. So I've just gone back to my hometown of Sheringham in North Norfolk, East Anglia, UK, for a long weekend. And it was a ruddy, bloody, lovely time. But it's also a disturbing experience because you sort of realise when you're walking down the road, taking my little dog for a walk, just everyone staring at screens, right? Just an infinite array of homes and therefore an infinite array of screens that people are just staring at, right? And this is kind of not just a phenomenon that's exclusive to Sheringham, of course. This is everywhere, like every urban settlement. You've got all of these human beings surrounded by walls, roofs, floors, which is completely shutting off the mind from engaging in our reality. And when the sun goes down at night, you can really see the extent and beauty of that reality and, of course, the mystery that surrounds us all. Because remember, it's the question that's important. It's the questioning mind that's more important than the answer, which we've all been trained to just simply regurgitate throughout Western education. You know, here's the information, remember that, and then we'll give you an A if you're good at remembering it. But of course, it's the questioning mind that is going to stimulate the Ajna chakra, the third eye, and give rise to the expansion of awareness that's required for us to actually liberate ourselves as a species and to climb the rung of reality itself. Remember, we're in a sort of like infinite scale, musical scale, if you like, of octaves. And if we want to expand into higher states of awareness, we absolutely need to get in touch with our natural surroundings. We need to begin to contemplate our reality, and we need to have wonder and awe re-stimulated in the individual, because all of that has been lost because people are incarcerated by their own homes. So, you know, gone are the days where we used to sort of, you know, live more tribally outside. We were fully connected with nature, and that's not just a superficiality. This is absolutely intrinsic and absolutely involved if we are to actually expand in awareness, because, of course, we have been completely divorced and separated from the natural world. And people just think of that as being something that's purely physical, but it's not. It's also spiritual. It's also psychological, right? We've been discarded from our reality by this despotic agenda, which of course is, at the end of the day, to try and bridge technology with biology, so biotech, right? We're going to become augmented. We're going to become like drones, if not already. And of course, Elon Musk wants to ram a plug in the back of our neck, and we'll be fully connected to AI, you know, before long. And so this is a very much, you know, nefarious agenda, of course, that's going on. It's very insidious, very normalized, because we've been born into this world that is simply operating in this way. And like, until you sort of like separate yourself from that society, until you begin to see things from a more alien or distant perspective, people will remain in this kind of underworld above which our true civilization exists. So if you think of the chakras, two, you know, well, seven, you know, in general, two of which are in the head, the rest of which are in the body. And these are very much shared with the other animals. But this is what makes us Homo sapien. This is what makes us ultimately sapient. And we're supposed to possess wisdom. We're fundamentally different to all other species, animals on this planet, right? And so if we don't have access to this, and Solomon's temple, which is what, of course, the human head represents, the soul of man, the sun and the moon, right? We'll be talking a lot about the true nature of reality by way of the Hermetic principles and natural laws, first of which being mentalism, right? And this dualism, this play of the masculine and the feminine, right? Unless we stimulate both of these hemispheres, we will remain incarcerated, not only by our homes, not only by our televisions, but also by our anatomy. The soul is interred, it's kind of inebriated by our physiology. And we can only transcend that when we begin to reconnect with Mother Nature herself and go out into, you know, the countryside. Go and spend time on your own. You know, this is the most important thing that we can do to try and reconnect, reunite with our higher selves. Remember that we are effectively the universe. When we strip away all these nouns, all of this sort of objectification by way of this excessively scientific and empirical reductionist way of looking at life and looking at reality, we will forever remain shackled by our dense vibration of this body. So when we wake up in the morning, it's difficult for us to see the realities that lie beyond the myopic lens of the human eye, for example. And that's simply because we're not exercising the faculties that actually give rise to this expansion of awareness that I'm talking about. And we've been distracted in every possible way, you know, entertainment, sport, education, pretty much everything. Like Alan Watts said, society is a hoax. Like Terence McKenna said, culture is not your friend, okay? Everything is conspiring for the continuation of this baseline level of consciousness, a rather embryonic state of awareness that we might call, you know, the matrix, right? The breeding mother, right? There's simply the social milieu that we've emerged from. And so we need to kind of like grow up now as a species. We need to sort of like pop our head up into the clouds, have a look around. Imagine you're on a plane, start to use the imagination, and you'll start to realize what William Blake was talking about when he said that to some, a tree is merely a green thing that stands in the way. But to the eyes of imagination, nature is imagination itself, right? Like we all begin to realize the incredible nature, the way that this is all set up, right? We aren't just simply, you know, existent within the cranium. The consciousness is not just here, it's everywhere. We are receivers of consciousness. We are receptors of consciousness. We'll be talking about the 7 receptors of human consciousness perhaps in the next video, because we need to understand this more scientifically. I'm sort of trying to discard the word chakra for receptor. It sounds a little bit more palatable for the Westerners. So, you know, in a nutshell, we are incarcerated by our homes. Of course, we need them, but we need to also be making sure that we're reconnecting with nature on a regular basis. If we live in the city, we need to be going to the countryside. If we live in the countryside already, we simply need to go outside and stop watching Casualty on a Saturday night and start looking up onto the stars, continually cast your mind into the depths of space, and eventually you'll awaken to a much broader state of affairs. And you'll also awaken to a lot of the nefarious agendas on this planet, which at the moment, many people just simply cannot accept. Even those on the spiritual journey still cannot quite accept the extent to which we are being psychologically operated on, and society is being engineered, and we're not going anywhere too far. So we're being led down the garden path. Anyway, that's it for this video. We are being incarcerated in many ways, more ways than it seems. And we are the only ones that can liberate ourselves from that. So New Earth.land for a new society, a more agorist world, a world which we might call post-capitalism, which simply balances out some socialist with some capitalist principles, a foundation, shelter, energy, food and water. Those things should be socialist. Those things should be provided to us. We are the ones that have to do that because we are the government, we are the power, we are the 99%. Thanks very much for watching.